So if you were doing some research on the Black Stuff company and you were trying to figure out if it was worth your time or your money, specifically the ginger honey tea and the Irish Mountain Rain, well, look no further, because in this video I'm actually going to be reviewing both of these soaps. So let's drop the music and let's get right into the review. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another review on what is another Tuesday. Two awesome soaps by these guys, the Black Stout and the Dog's Day Beach. Both of them reviewed very well. If you didn't check that out, dude, I definitely encourage you to go check that out. Stop this and go watch that one and come back. Awesome review. But I'm really excited to get into this one because I think these two are gonna follow up really well. And what is that is the the ginger honey tea and the Irish Mountain Rain. So I think these two are really excellent as well. But with that being said, let's get into the review and let's start talking about what these soaps look like in the box. So let's get into it. All right, guys, let's kick things off with the box and the soap. I don't want to spend too much time here because we went into a lot of detail last week, but to kind of reiterate on the box, we have what is a traditional box, but man, I really love the logo. And for some reason, these boxes, when you put them up against other boxes, they really stand out. So the marketing, the presentation is overall really good. And now the soaps, on the other hand, I'm kind of noticing now that we saw more of the soaps, I'm starting to notice like a trend, and this must be a signature thing for them. As if you notice, like a lot of their soaps have like this little line that runs through them, and it looks pretty cool. It's really simple, but I know a lot of their soaps do that, so it might be a little signature thing, and it looks good. So, but that's what the soap in the box looks like. Let's move on to the next part when we'll talk a little more about the ingredients of our soaps. All right, guys, moving right along into our ingredients section of our video. Now I'm gonna go ahead and post these ingredients on the screens for you guys to go ahead and check them out. Now, if you saw last week's episode, you can start seeing a trend, you start seeing a pattern, you start getting a feel for who this company is, right? And based on the ingredients, you know what to expect from our soaps, because there's a certain pattern that all of these soaps are following, right? We have our nice little collection of essential fatty oils, right? Our olive, our coconut, palm oil, things like that. Then you have your nice little blend of different essential oils that are particularly unique to each soap. They have some similarities, but they always add something that's a little different for each one, right? Obviously. And then you have like little Kaolin clay, Shea butter, and plant extracts, whatever ingredients that are unique to that soap. So start getting balanced. Now these soaps particularly have a lot of ingredients compared to other companies. Basically what I'm getting is like a combination of Sudsy Bear and Dr. Squatch. Like I find like that's kind of where they fall in terms of ingredients, right? That's kind of the pattern. Now, by the way, that's a great combination. that's a great place to fall, like to emulate your soap out there. Now I do want to add something that's really, really cool. I want to point out for the Irish Mountain Rain, these guys actually literally use Irish Rain. That's really cool because there's a bunch of companies that call their soaps Irish Rain or Waterfall, whatever. No, these guys are the real deal. They're actually literally using Irish Rain. And I don't know if that adds any special benefits or anything like that. I don't know if that makes you like luckier or anything like that, but it's still pretty cool. I think that's pretty dope to point out. And on the flip side, not to be outdone, the ginger honey tea, these guys are actually brewing, like they use the tea base to make the soap. Like they'll brew the tea overnight and use that or try to infuse as much of that into the soap as possible. So they're literally literally making tea and putting that in their soaps. Like that's pretty cool too. I think it's really cool. Like they just I get like this vibe like makeshift. Like these guys are just like pulling stuff like in their backyard. Anything that's like within arm's reach is just using that to make their soap. And like that's a super cool vibe. I love stories like this. One of my favorite parts about reviewing soaps, especially like from smaller companies, is hearing like these guys' stories. And it's not just soaps, it's really anything, music, art, anything, and like how these people are passionate. Like they come up with, like they just get creative and they come up with their own things to make their art, you know, unique in their own way. And it's always really cool to hear that. So I thought all this was super cool. Just wanted to point that out to you guys. But those are ingredients. Everything's all natural, you know, no artificial fragrances or colors, anything like that, toxic chemicals. So everything looks really cool. So we got a good story and we got some cool ingredients. So, but with that being said, let's move on to the next part where we start talking about the scents of our soap. All right, guys, moving right along into our scent portion of the video. Guys, just like last week, man, we have a situation where both our soaps smell absolutely fantastic. Starting with the Irish Mountain Rain, we have a very crisp, a very fresh. In fact, I'll even go as far as saying this is probably their most gentle smelling soap when you compare it to all the other ones. Now, I don't mean soft in terms of scent strength. I just mean that in terms of profile, right? Now, not to be too much on the nose, it does definitely have like a rainfall element to it, right? Now, on the flip side, but it does have like a crispness to it, and that I think that comes from the lemongrass. It also has some elements of sage and things like that. But what's so fascinating is that those ingredients don't really scream soft or smooth. I reviewed a ton of them. It's not typical how they go, but here we have a situation where I don't know how they do it, but you have a perfect blend balance where it's just really smooth and really gentle, and it's like relaxing and soothing as well. I think a good reference point, because I know a lot of you ask me all the time, and I know a lot of you are big fans of Dr. Squatch, so a good reference point would be like Cool Fresh Aloe. Now, I'm not saying the soap smells like that, but it does fall in that similar vein, right? So, just to give you some food for thought. Now, on the flip side, we have what is the ginger honey tea. Now, personally, this very well be my favorite one of all the ones I've smelled by these guys so far. And I think that's just because every time I use it, it makes me think of a fresh brewed cup of herbal tea. And I love the smell of herbal teas, man. Absolutely love them. Now, this one also features like a softer, a smoother, a more gentle scent. But this is where it gets really interesting because you have this element of ginger, right? That gives it a nice little edge, right? And interesting, it has a nice little spice to it, right? Because it has clove present in it, and which is really fascinating. You can't really pick up too much, but if you smell it, you can get enough. You can get a little whiff in there. But this is the kicker. This is the cool part. It has like a citrus element to it as well. Check this out. It has lime in it. Now, I reviewed a ton of soaps on this channel, and I've never had a soap that featured lime as one of the scents. So I thought that was really cool, and it does really well here. Freaking phenomenal. So guys, I hope that gives you a better idea what these scents smell like. Let's move on to the lather test, and then we'll come back and do some concluding thoughts. So let's move right along. Alright gentlemen, welcome back from the lather test, and as you can tell, both our soaps really featured a really nice lather, but it's still always good to see, right? Now, let's start doing some concluding thoughts. Let's wrapping everything up, starting over with some smaller details. Our ginger honey tea is going to come in at 6 ounces. It's going to cost you $8.75, whereas the Irish Mountain Rain is going to come at 4.5 ounces, and it's going to cost you $7.75. Now, we had an opportunity to look at the soap in the box itself. Again, the box really cool. I really like that logo. It's really good. Our soaps look really good. I like the little line, like the little trademark thing going on. Both look really good. Now, our ingredients, everything was all natural. Everything checked off. We didn't have any artificial color or fragrance or anything like that. No sketchiness. Got a nice little balance. Also, plus, I really liked like the special ingredients, right? Like the Irish Rain that they actually use, or the freshly brewed tea. Two really cool ingredients that really add like a really nice story. Those was really cool. We also got a chance to smell our soaps. Now we also had opportunity to smell our soaps, and both our soaps smell absolutely fantastic. Both feature like a more gentle, more soft, more soothing smell, right? Where our ginger honey tea had a little bit more of an edge to it, right? Maybe think of like a fresh herbal tea, and so that was really cool. Probably maybe my favorite one. Now the Irish Mountain Rain had like a fresh, very crisp, rainfall-like type of smell. Featured like lemongrass and sage. Really nice. Definitely gentle, probably the most gentle one of them all. At the end of the day though, you can't go wrong with either one. These two smell absolutely really good, and they are basically both must-haves in your lineup. That's what I would say about both. So at the end of the day, both smell really good though. Now performance-wise, very similar to last week. I had no issues, no problems, no dry skin, anything like that. Skin was soft, smooth, everything felt good. If there was any skin grab, it was very minimal, if any. So really good stuff there. So also point out the silage was actually pretty good. I know some of you asked me about that, and here the silage I would say is on par with Squatch or Bears or anyone actually. I think the only one probably is Sudsy Bear. I don't know what they do to his soaps, but Black Stuff Company in terms of silage is actually pretty darn good. And that's kind of the vibe here, is that everything is a certain quality, which is very impressive when you consider these guys is still what is I would consider their startup phase. I think that's safe to say, and they already have this really nice lineup of soaps. Man, we're batting 1,000 at this point with all their soaps. Everything just seems to be just so well made and put together, and there's a passion to it, and everything has like a little story to it, right? And you can tell like they're just like, I don't know, like it's just the effort that goes into a lot of these things. And the fact that these guys are just getting started is really impressive to see. It's really cool, and I'm really excited to see where these guys go, right? Like I start thinking about all like the different products and different things they can start doing, right? It's really neat to see. And now I do know they also have a natural deodorant these guys sell, so you might want to check that out. I think I'll grab a stick sooner or later. I've been using Squatch, but I think I'm gonna check these guys out. I'm really curious to see what they got in terms of natural deodorant. So, but think about when they start progressing, they really start opening up. Man, if they do anything like they've been doing with these soaps, my gosh, I'm really excited to see where these guys go with that. But at the end of the day, man, just like last week, these are two easy recommendations for me. I think if you're looking into the Black Stuff Company, you're nervous, or you're just trying to see, well, what's good, what's not. I think these two, you'll be perfectly fine with these. I'd be very confident. These type of scents typically tend to be the most popular anyway amongst people. These type of scents, so I'm very confident, more than comfortable recommending these. But guys, I mean, that pretty much wraps up my review. If you have any comments or anything like that, any feedback, I know these guys watch these reviews, so any feedback that you can provide these guys, I know that the John and the Black Stuff Company would greatly appreciate it. So that's all I ask of you, is to help them out. So show them some love. Don't do it for me, do it for them. So, but then guys, once again, this is Natural Soap Man. It's been an absolute pleasure to serve you as always. I'll see you next week, where we'll be back with the Black Stuff Company one more week, and we're going to include our time with the Atlantic Pine Tar and Eucalyptus on Ice. So look forward to that, and I'll see you then. Until then, you guys stay safe, stay natural, and bye bye.